Hey guys, Backwater Performance here. Today we're just going to take a few minutes and go over a common question that we get on the phone several times a week, sometimes several times a day. Simple maintenance part of a mud motor is belt tension. So we're going to walk through the process today, show you how to check the belt tension on your mud motor and adjust it and fix it if needed. So the first step, you're going to want to remove the clutch cover. Again, for time's sake, we've already removed the bolts, so that will save us a little bit of time. So once you remove that clutch cover, you can kind of see the inside of the housing here. You've got the plug on the side here, so we can go ahead and remove that. And again, we've kind of pre-loosened these things for time's sake. Once you've got these apart, the next step would be to tension your belt. There's two methods to this. With the belt tensioning tool, we do sell these. You can give us a call at the shop. You can order them online. For a new belt, you're going to want to keep that right about 19 pounds. The reason being, you like that a little bit tighter because it's going to stretch a little bit and loosen up. For the older belts or a used belt that's already been on there, anywhere between about 14 and 17 pounds tends to be pretty ideal for those. So a couple different ways. You want to check this with a 1/4 inch of deflection. Two ways. There is some marks on here. As you can see, there 4 of those lines is a 1/4 inch. So as you insert this into the deal, you can actually check it on the side of the housing and mark where it's at. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to depress that in. You can count 4 lines. So you count 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, and then you pull it out and you'll check your belt tension, how many pounds it is. The other way, kind of the old school way, is the same concept. Take a tape measure, and you're going to kind of measure where that is, and that sits right about 1 inch. Same concept. Insert your tool. You want to push that in there and give it a 1/4 inch deflection. Measure that, and you're going to want to back that out there and check your tension. We've tensioned this one already. It is where it's supposed to be. In the situation that you may have to tension your belt, a couple things you need to do first. So while we've got the clutch cover off, there's 2 bolts on the top that'll need to be loosened. There's actually 2 behind the clutch, and there's 1 on each side. And then you've got on the back side of the belt housing, there's 4 bolts here. You've got 1 on top on each side and 1 on the bottom, so 4 bolts total here. These 4 here, and then this is your belt tension bolt. This is how you increase or decrease the tension of your belt. Once those are all loosened up, you can increase the tension of the bolt and double check the tension. When you get it where you need it to be, go ahead and snug everything back down again. The 4 bolts on the bottom, the 4 in the middle, and then the 2 on the top and the 2 behind the clutch. Make sure those are tight. Don't forget these 2, especially behind, because they are out of sight, kind of out of mind. I have seen those rattle loose and end up in the bottom. They could tear up a belt, they could tear up a sprocket, cause some issues. So make sure you don't forget to tighten those down as well. In the case that we've got this off, again, now is a good time to inspect the belt. Make sure it's not ripped or any chunks taken out of it, or it's not starting to fall apart at all. Also make sure there's no grease or anything in there, maybe possible blown seal on the drive. So once you've tensioned that, put everything back together again here. You're going to want to reinstall your belt tension plug. Okay, it's pretty simple. And before you reinstall your clutch cover, you're definitely going to want to clean that up. All the old RTV silicone that's on there needs to come off there. Make sure it's nice and clean. We've just used a razor blade and a simple scrub brush. Okay, something pretty simple, just to help get that cleaned up and make sure it's nice and clean for that new stuff to adhere to. So make sure you get those cleaned up on both sides, on the belt housing and also in the clutch cover itself. We've taken that and cleaned that up nice as well. So make sure you clean those up before you install those. Some of the newer style will actually have the groove in them for the spaghetti gasket. Helps that. We do RTV silicone those as well, just to help keep the water out. When you're reinstalling these, just a basic black RTV silicone. You can get it at a auto parts store. They sell it. Pretty simple. Just go ahead and apply. You're going to apply a amount. Just go all the way around the deal, the housing here. Go through this, go around. Okay. Here. And be careful with your shirt, because this stuff does tend to get all over for some reason. Just want to make a nice bead all the way around. Make sure we seal it off nice and good. Okay. Start back up here again. All the way back down. Nice solid bead. All the way to the bottom. All right, once we've done that, we're going to go ahead and reinstall the clutch cover. When you do this, there is a pin inside. You're going to want to make sure that that pin is lined up with the anti-rotation bracket that's in here. Otherwise, it won't go on there right. So, and make sure you got all your holes lined back up again. So once you're good there, go ahead and line that back up. Okay. We have got it in there. You want to go ahead and reinstall your bolts. Depending on if it's a tall or short transom, you'll have 6 or 8 of these to install. So, kind of just depends on what you've got. We can reinstall these. And when you reinstall this, you're going to want to torque these to about 35 foot-pounds. So get yourself a torque wrench and tighten these things down to about 35 foot-pounds. And that's about all it takes. So again, pretty basic, pretty simple, but again, a very important piece to this motor. Without that belt, the motor doesn't run. So make sure you're checking that belt tension a couple times throughout the year just to make sure it's tensioned properly. And again, anything else, you have any other questions, concerns, give us a call at the shop, shoot us an email. We're happy to help. Thanks, guys.